Yeah, start recording. So, after many technical difficulties, you finally fucking got it. That's good. So I have Quentin, Thomas, and then Brandon now running our shit, so that way we don't have any fucking problems again. So this is kind of fucking cool.
Yeah,
It's the first one where it's actually a bunch of fucking
and
people,
we
not
actually
just
have
the
a
two
good
of us.
setup for some good audio and visual stuff.
Yeah, you're about to leave in fucking 30 minutes, loser. Whipped. So.
Oh, it's muted.
There, you got it?
Get a read in there? Yeah.
Top.
Alright, we're good.
Okay.
Cool.
So
What do we want to start with?
I have a list of stuff.
Yeah, I guess there's been
Because
a
a
lot.
lot of shit has happened since the last
Yeah, there's
one.
been a lot since the last podcast.
We could start with George Floyd, or the fact prosecutors request a formal, speaking with Prince Andrew over the Epstein
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
It was rioting, of course. Autonomous zone in Seattle. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah, I haven't looked into it a lot.
So basically, a bunch of Antifa fucks took over six blocks in Seattle, and then there's a local Seattle rapper who went in with a group of people and guns, and they took over the autonomous zone.
Yeah.
So it's a money-free, police-free area, and they ran out of food in 2 days.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic because
They're asking for food, but the food they want is all like vegan, expensive
super
ass,
organic.
vegetarian food.
Well, that's what's funny. I don't know. That's what's interesting to watch is watch people who are socialists and super heavily believe in it go like full on nose first into it, and then it's like,
And then they
it's
run
like,
out of food.
nah, it doesn't work,
Is this
homie.
Russia Part 2? So, yeah. I want to talk about the presidential election.
This one?
Yeah. So, hey Brandon, can you pull up here? Can you pull up here the Veripoll, VERIPOLL presidential poll? Because this is it should, yeah, that top one. um 36.4, 207 electoral votes for Trump, 25.3%, 112 electoral votes for Biden, 37.9% popular vote, 212 electoral votes so far for Joe Jorgensen. Which is crazy
Yeah.
for the fucking libertarian. Granted, this isn't an official poll. This
Yeah.
is just people who went through, shared a link on the internet, and then asked, "Hey, fill this out." 37% of that is libertarian.
I know. Well, that's what I thought was cool.
Least.
Obviously, it's not completely nationwide, and it's probably a small amount of people doing it. Not necessarily like tiny, but not huge numbers like you'd expect from like a news station to actually put out. But it's still pretty cool to see.
Yeah, the one thing I wish they would add is, go to total users. Actually, scroll down a little bit. Just a tiny bit. No, that'll work. Let's see what that sees. It's okay. Can you scroll down a little more? See if there's any type of numbers on how many people have actually see if there's no, it's okay. I was actually just checking to make sure there's no questions about audio.
That I brought because it's picking up.
Okay.
Picking up, you turn it on, we get.
That's annoying. That's not good. Are you able to turn it down any a little bit? Okay. Okay. All right. Can you hear me through my mic? Okay.
Well, I guess one good question: are you both gonna vote? And if you are, who are you gonna vote for?
Too close to call it right now, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you gonna vote for either of the two main people running, either Joe Biden or Trump?
I'll tell you that much.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a good one, Joe is a good one, like Jorgensen.
Joe, not Joe.
Yeah, definitely a good one. Especially like it was cool. She actually went to one of the Black Lives Matter protests in her local area and like was out in the streets protesting with them. So that was pretty cool to see.
Which is cool, considering, you know, neither one of these. Fucking Donald Trump tried to look badass saying that he walked across the street when there's video footage of them tear gassing the protesters outside to get them to go away so he could walk across that fucking street. They say they didn't, but there's video footage of it happening.
Yeah.
And then he picked up the Bible and the Bible was upside down. So I'm not monitoring Facebook, but I can. Okay. Now you're good. They can hear your speakers. Okay.
Yeah, I was having.
Hashtag Joe, not Joe. Facts, bro.
Not at all.
Not at all. We had to put it and wait for them.
Well, if this one and this one are working, we could just set this one over there, and you guys can just sit forward and talk into this one. If it's picking up, fine, and we can just share here, and they can share this one.
You guys share this one, and you guys can share this.
This one are working, we can just set this one over there, and you guys can just sit forward.
I'm unplugging.
Picking up.
Yeah, there are several. Facts, dude. Joe, not Joe. Here, talking to that microphone real quick, Quentin.
Facts, dude. Joe, not Joe. Volume. Yeah, decent volume.
I didn't hear. I don't have. Yeah. No audio on. Should we stop the stream and restart it? We could restart OBS. You're talking this mic real quick.
Yeah.
Not okay.
I'm trying to do USB. Does green light mean it's on? Okay. Yeah.
Go.
Oh, look, we're getting it now. Perfect.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you guys share this one. Share this one.
Turn up theirs real quick. Yeah.
I'm glad you got the tech guy that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. We deal with this for 30 fucking minutes and finally get it.
I was gonna say the past 2 times have been pretty much like we'll set up and we'll start going and then we'll look at chat and we'll be like, oh,
If we're gonna speak,
this was useless
Yeah.
because we couldn't hear shit.
Fine with you, gotcha.
There we go. Yeet. Talking to that.
Hello. Hello.
I'm getting
Hello.
How in your voice?
Yeah, talk loud.
Hello. Can you hear me clearly?
Yep.
That's all we need then.
Oh.
Alright.
Yeah, cool.
So, yeah, Yeah,
Ladies
you
and
guys
gentlemen,
just
welcome to
talk
the
with
next 10
confidence.
minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
Dope. Got it.
all right.
Gotta get right up on it. Well, only 45 minutes in, and now we can finally talk to each other, so that's nice.
Improvement, yeah. For sure, it's improvement.
So this is actually, even when you put on the total users, it actually bumps her percent up a little bit, 38. But she's votes then because she loses more important battlegrounds. I don't know. It'll be an interesting vote for sure.
It will be very interesting. I don't. I'm sure we'll see her actually show up on polling numbers. I mean, this time around, because no one wants either one of these fucks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The main thing that I have hope for with like Joe Jorgensen is that just having a third party in general get more than like 10% at a national scale is big because you don't really see them ever get that kind of popularity. They don't get to those kinds of numbers. So definitely seeing if she can get at least half of this or more in actual numbers, then that would be like actually really cool to see because it would like give people hope to vote for third parties and stuff.
Yeah, it will. It'll be interesting just to see how this turns out when it comes to our only chance for, people who actually give a fuck about us.
Slim number, huh?
Yeah, I mean, none of them are in office currently, so the only people who actually give a shit are the people, working
That have
class.
to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like as soon as you get into office, you lose any type of
Integrity.
because you're bribed.
Well, the problem I think is it's just too much power for anybody to ever have, really. Like the ability of people in the Congress
I'm sorry.
is
Can you pull
just
that
way
off
too
and go back
much.
to us?
Yeah, it is off. It is off. It's on you guys right now.
Okay. So, are you able to flip the camera to show them bitches?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you did. So, yeah. I don't care. I don't care. Go back and forth.
Okay.
So, Thomas, got any cool stories?
Depends on what about.
Whatever you feel comfortable like sharing to the world. Yeah.
Because this will be on YouTube as well, even though there's only
Huh. Shit, you caught me at a loss here, yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Start getting nervous when the whole world's watching, don't you?
yeah. I don't want any. I don't want any.
It's okay.
Unopened files coming back,
I guess you probably shouldn't talk because you're currently on. Yeah.
You saw nothing.
But
I mean, I could tell you about Apache Junction, Arizona.
Arizona one, the tool.
Albuquerque. It's like, I think like 30 miles out of Albuquerque or 20. And
Talk a little louder.
we
Get up on it.
get up on it.
Yeah.
Oh yes, sir. All right, I'm up on you now. Okay. So we were taking a family trip down to Albuquerque, New Mexico one time, and we couldn't find a hotel anywhere in Albuquerque because we got there so late. So we ended up at this hotel literally on the railroad tracks, like literally. Like I could see him loading trains from my window and like wave at the guy. And we go down to swim in the pool. I'll never forget this. I think I was like 12 at the time. And some dude comes up to me with like 3 teeth in his mouth and he's like, "Hey son, you want to try some candy?" And I'm like, I'm completely at a loss for words at this point. So my older cousin comes up and says, "No sir, we don't take candy from strangers." And he says, "But it has drugs in it." And I don't know anything about drugs. So at that time, I just said, "No, sir, go away." But I guess the summation of this story is, if you're going to stop in Apache Junction, go past it. Right around it. Right around it. And
That wasn't the outcome I was
that was my
expecting.
show and share for you guys.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna talk about Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah? You want to hear about that?
So this is clearly a different time because you were not 12 when you saw Tool.
Perfect circle. Perfect circle.
Okay.
Last year. 420. Take from that what you will. I mean, pleading the fifth, but we being me and a friend of mine ingested more than enough psychedelics that it would probably put down a small animal, or maybe even actually a small equine animal in this case, because I mean 30 minutes into the concert I had lost my complete mind, and I was like getting really confused as to where I was at, and I thought to myself, I made a mistake. A mistake I can't reverse at this point. So I mean, all you can do at that point is either freak out and go to a medical tent or deal with it, you know? So I had the best concert experience of my life so far. Got a lot more to experiment with, if you will. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a time in my past, so take what you want. But yeah, I remember that was a pretty mind-boggling experience, to say the least.
Remembers.
Yeah, remembers flashes of it. Yeah, and what I was told at least.
Okay. Well, I guess have either of you?
Me neither. I'm scared ever since that day, bro. Like,
Have either of you guys been watching any of the Netflix documentaries like Waco or the Epstein documentary?
I actually haven't gotten there yet. Fiance, wife, whatever the hell ball and chain that is, haven't actually gotten to that yet. But been wanting to watch the Waco stuff, but haven't gotten that far yet.
Watch Waco, dude.
Yeah,
I've been
also-
watching it. Oh my god, I fucking love Waco.
Waco
It's awful.
Or the Epstein one. They're both like really sad to watch, but they're both really informative.
man, that Epstein one, I watched the first 2 episodes. It started bringing me down.
I know.
it's
That's how I
super
was.
sad.
I was fucking listening to it at work. It's like, oh my god, I can't fucking keep watching this.
Yeah.
It's like, or listening to it in my case. It's like, oh my god.
When it's so sad because it's like literally there's like the point where they're talking about they have this whole case against him. They have probably testimonies from 50 plus girls that are like, yeah, I was over there and he either did something sexual in front of me or touched me or did shit like that.
This is still pulled up.
They had all of that, and he only got the 1 count of prostitution and completely got off on it, you know.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry. No, you're good. No, you're good. Yeah. The Epstein shit fucked me up. It was hard to watch. It really was. Listening to these women come out, a lot of them were underage at the time.
Yeah.
Was really hard to listen to. And it's kind like at the end they didn't really go into the whole conspiracy behind it. And they touched on it, but they didn't dive into it. I feel like they should have. Because even his brother said Epstein wouldn't have killed himself. Yeah. And either that means he's still alive, which he had an escape plan from the very beginning, or someone killed him, which regardless, both need to be figured out. Yeah. Because it's pretty fucking.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because there's like have you guys seen the like Amazon stuff or not the anonymous stuff that got leaked recently?
I did see a little bit.
So one of the things that got released was like these court documents where it was a lawsuit against Donald
Remember you telling me
Trump
about that?
and Jeffrey Epstein. And so it's talking about them being accused of raping this underage girl, and it pretty much details it. And I know I've seen a lot of like Trumpers that are like conspiracy theorists in their own set or their own mind. They're like, oh no, that's just fake and stuff. But what's funny when you watch the Epstein documentary is so Epstein got just 1 count of prostitution for this evidence that he had molested probably 50 plus girls, probably 200 or
those
more.
were the ones who spoke
it was
up,
it was a lot for sure. And he got away with 1 count of prostitution, so he went to jail for 18 months and could leave 6 days a week for 12 hours a day. So he pretty much wasn't in jail. And the guy who pretty much got him that on a plea deal, his name was Alexander Acosta, and he was like the attorney general in Florida at the time. So Donald Trump ended up picking Alexander Acosta as his labor secretary for when he got presidency. And that's what's funny is listening to these people say it's fake and that Trump isn't a pedophile and he's like trying to expose Epstein, it's like, well, why did he choose the guy that let him off so fucking easy?
That's all the case, then why hasn't he done?
Yeah, exactly.
He
And-
picked his backup plan.
And really, the only reason that Epstein even got pulled in a second time was because they like ruled that the plea deal was completely shady and like completely unjust. So Trump knew, obviously, that this guy was a piece of shit and helping Epstein.
Fuck Trump.
Fuck Trump.
Fuck 12. Yeah. The whole Acosta shit's pretty sketchy. The Prince Andrew stuff. That's
Yeah.
sketchier because he was kicked out of the royal family.
And he's getting called on to
He's
testify.
getting called on, yeah, by federal prosecutors.
And did you see that Hillary Clinton's getting called on to testify about the emails?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That would
She's
be
being,
interesting.
yeah, she has to testify about her emails. They're like pulling back the case and like actually looking into it, so she might get jail time.
She won't get jail time. What are we talking about? She went.
True.
She wasn't recently. She was testifying for something Benghazi related.
Yeah, I think that's what this is too.
Yeah. Hillary Clinton's a cunt. The fact anybody voted for Hillary Clinton, boggles my fucking
We're back
mind.
in high school, 2016 election.
I know that's what's so
Ooh.
crazy. I remember 2016 felt like it was like so fucking heated, and now that it's 2020,
It's even
Well, you
worse.
gotta think about the state of the
Crazy.
world, what the world is in now.
Pandemic,
quarantine.
World War III.
I mean,
At the very start, pandemic, Kobe's death. Now it's
communism in China
pre-
is being challenged and shit.
pre-boog in in the United States, and then pre-boog in China or Hong Kong.
even now, it's
so-
not this. We're halfway through. Look back to last year.
But doesn't it still feel like January?
It does, but you can.
and
But
it's
you
just
think
hot?
about how much different the world is now compared to what it was. Remember movie
Yeah.
theaters? Those might not ever exist anymore. It's like, remember when we were like, oh, we can't go do anything here in town because there's do. Well, guess what? You can't go outside anyway.
Yeah, there's literally nothing to do.
Yeah.
Whole world is completely different.
Martial law. We're going into martial law. I foresee it.
You think so?
I foresee it.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the violence has died down. It just depends on what next big thing happens that sets people off.
Mass
Because I just
shooting?
feel like, well, yeah, that's true, but I don't know.
I don't think that'll set anybody off.
And I don't think there's
Um,
really a way for them to do it right now because then they're actively advocating against keeping everybody inside for COVID.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, as soon as this COVID shit's over, they're gonna be like, CIA is gonna come in.
Yeah, but that's gonna
Mass
be-
shooting.
That's going to be too long away. It's going to be the election by then.
Exactly. That's the whole point. He already said they're gonna put Beto, or Biden already said he's gonna put Beto as his anti-gun enforcer, which is fucking retarded. Who do you think he's gonna put for his vice president? He said he's gonna put a female.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the obvious
gonna be
thing-
Clinton?
Yeah, the obvious thing looks like Hillary Clinton. I had heard that he thought about, or that I've heard about stuff saying he was going to put Andrew Cuomo somewhere in his cabinet.
Andrew Cuomo's stupid. The fact anybody wants Andrew Cuomo for anything, he's awful.
What do you have?
Oh, okay.
Why do you have Stuckey Middle School up on your?
Because that was so I've had this account since I was in middle school, and so I just added it to my favorite, so I never had to go and type it in. So it's still up there from 6 years ago.
Actually, You know what I'm really curious about is who Donald Trump's gonna pick as his vice president.
You think he's gonna pick someone to go against the Libertarian Party candidate? He's gonna put
I
Ron
could s-
Paul in, so
it
that
would
way
be
it divides the
interesting because-
Libertarian
Yeah,
Paul.
if he put like Rand
Party.
Paul, it would divide that up a lot.
That would be hard.
Trust you.
I don't think I could, even if Rand Paul was his guy,
I don't think I could either.
because I can't vote for Trump. I can't bring myself to do it.
Not even for the meme.
I
of
got. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that just to kind of raise awareness. Someone shit on. Do you know who Stephen Amell is? He was the Arrow in the Green Arrow.
Okay.
Someone shit on his roof the other day. Yeah, someone was doing illegal construction, and it was causing problems for them. So his wife went over there and talked to him. They did all,
How do
they
you
didn't bring the law.
discover that there's a shit on your roof? That's my question. Why are you on your roof to begin with? And then you discover there's a shit up there?
Yeah, so his neighbor climbed up onto his house and took a shit on the roof. No, it's just the poop. I wonder if they heard footsteps. No, but it looks like a human turd.
I wonder how long he's been shitting on his roof for.
They just caught him.
It was only 2 turds. They looked halfway fresh. Yeah, only 2 turds. They're hefty turds. Like, don't get me wrong.
I got some Mars
There's only
bars,
2.
yeah.
There's only 2 logs. Let me rephrase that. Because illegal construction. They were trying illegal construction. Their neighbors doing illegal construction. It was causing problems for Stephen Amell and his wife. They tried to do everything they could without getting the law involved. They didn't get the law involved, but they didn't like the way, don't fucking tell me what to do. And he climbed up there one night and shit on his roof. He posted on his Instagram. He showed the shit. Yeah, he showed
Caption,
the
well, you
Instagram.
captioned that, yeah.
It's probably, if my best guess is, it's probably Derek. Jake Steele. It's probably Derek, the diarrhea god. Do you see his name tape?
I did. I saw it coming.
Derek got a name tape. My friend Derek got a name tape, and it says diarrhea god on it.
Yeah, won that one.
Okay, so I have a question. So with all of the Black Lives Matter stuff that's going on right now, there's a lot of people throwing out the idea of defunding police. What do you guys think of that? Or have you looked into it at all?
Looked into it, so take this for what it is. In my past, I haven't had very good run-ins with law enforcement officers, so...
I agree.
That's why I figured it'd be an interesting question.
I actually had a recent encounter with a police officer recently.
Did he kill it?
No, I was actually,
Why
it was
didn't
about
you?
3 in.the morning,
What's wrong with you?
and I was playing video games in my apartment. Best part, town. But, yeah, just sitting there playing video games in my room, and I heard a knock on my window, and I was like, oh, that's not normal. So, I get up. Barely, I'm not completely dressed, but I'm dressed enough. And I opened the door. Copper's going upstairs. But he must have heard me talking through my window. Otherwise, he wouldn't have knocked on the window. He would have knocked on the door. But he was wondering. He was like, "Hey, do you know who owns this car? Back parking lot. I own the other one down the way." He's like, "Oh, well, nothing happened here, but we're just trying to locate." Like, bullshit, nothing didn't happen here. Why would you be knocking on my door then?
Knocking on my window.
So, but he was actually very, very friendly. I did not catch his name.
Well, you're wrong, because no cops are friendly.
Well, believe it or not, this is probably the best encounter I've ever had.
That was the 1 out of 60.
But sorry to cut you off, Tom. This
You're all
is your
good.
turn.
No, you're all good, man. You're not gonna offend me. Yeah, so I wouldn't stand for completely defunding them. Maybe putting the funds into smarter facets or areas of the training
that's a lot of
get rid of crime.
and
that's a lot of what it looks like.
well then, kudos to them.
Police force.
Armed.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
okay, that's cool.
Oh, actually, I think I might have seen that. I think it might be in New York or Philly or somewhere like that. Was it California?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Because I had seen,
California.
because one of the things that was kind of backing up the defunding the police argument is at least having social workers do a lot of the nonviolent stuff rather than sending a police with a gun, which can easily escalate a situation. And there's actually a private company that exists in some city, and they respond to 20% of all 911 calls in general, but they only do nonviolent calls. So it's actually pretty interesting because it could work pretty well, and there's already good evidence that it is working with a private company on its own. Because I went to.
I think it's interesting when companies or when cities bring in private companies
I do too.
Because a lot of times, of course, you see it on TV shows, and a lot of the private companies are they're more dedicated to investigation of violent crimes, murder, shit like that.
Yeah,
While the police force is more dedicated to civil problems, which I think is a little better.
Mm-hmm.
You get the police called out there. Okay, we deem all right. We need to bring in the private company. They handle.
Well, yeah, that's like the only people that cops really need to be going and dealing with are people that are like actively causing a threat to people. Like out in the streets with a gun or going door to door robbing
in the streets
people.
with a gun. That motherfucker should be allowed to walk with an AR-15.
Well, not like with the gun, but out on the streets pointing a gun at people trying to
You're causing
harm,
problems.
Yeah, harm others and shit like that.
What's that?
What? Yeah, I saw that.
Oh
You wanna look
I
at
guess
that?
that's a good one.
Okay.
Did you guys see the story about the 75-year-old man who got shoved
Yeah, I
out
did.
and busted his head open?
50 Buffalo police.
No, it was the entire police force.
The entire police force for Buffalo quit. Not because they were protesting against what those cops did to that man. They were protesting because those cops got fired.
No, they didn't get fired.
They got suspended.
The two cops that shoved him got suspended. They weren't even on they weren't fired yet. They weren't going to be charged with anything yet. They just got suspended, and the entire Buffalo PD resigned because they suspended those cops for shoving that guy.
Fuck them. We didn't need them.
I know.
I'm just reading. What the fuck?
What?
The officers said they were displeased after the command staff took a knee with the activists. Why would you be upset when your command is protesting with the police?
Yeah.
With the people.
Jeez.
You shouldn't be in the fucking police if you're gonna have a problem with other police officers using their civilian rights, using their rights as Americans.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know what I think is dumb is watching all of these protests and watching the police move people to other areas. It's like if you're in a public area, what right do they have to tell you to move somewhere else?
They don't.
But they still do
They're
it.
trying to secure an area.
They still do
so
it,
that
and
way
they
have
still
more
tear
control.
gas it.
Well, tear gas shouldn't be used to begin with. It's fucking, we can't use it, more.
Or
Why
rubber
should you
bullets.
be? Yeah, rubber
bullets
bullets. Their original purpose is not the end of the world. If
Yeah.
they shoot it at the ground, they're targeting someone when they're doing it properly. But
Yeah.
direct to the fucking face or to the side of the head is
Damn
ridiculous.
near death, man.
Yeah.
I mean, rubber bullets are less lethal than regular bullets. Still dangerous. They're just less
if you hit
lethal.
somebody in the eye with a rubber bullet, it's still going
Right,
through their
but,
eye.
but you're not going to get
Yeah, they
shot
could
in
kill
the
you.
chest with a rubber bullet and die.
Right spot.
Right, and you can.
Yeah.
They're less lethal than a regular bullet,
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah,
still
that's true.
they're still dangerous. Like, you ever been pepper sprayed before?
You can cause that.
Not
you
me.
can-
You have you been pepper sprayed before? It feels bad.
And that could also like cause people with like respiratory
Oh,
problems
yes.
to like
That-
go into like
yes.
instant,
Asthma.
like
Have you ever been hit with pocket sand?
Black powder egg from a ninja.
I've been caught with a pepper spray a couple times. Trust me, like that
not
shit
fun.
will fuck you up. It is.
Have you ever been
I have
tased?
not been tased.
yeah,
Have you been
so, like,
tased?
what's-
Stun gun, yeah. Not like a police
so
taser.
what's-
Oh, is that when you got? Was that when you were being detained?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, not with a police taser. That's what I said. With like a civilian taser, like what they're allowed to use.
So what's your guys' worst police stories then? If you want to talk about it, at least the worst one you want to disclose.
All right.
I gotta think about mine.
I can do one because to my best knowledge, all of the charges up and
Okay.
settlement is. I can talk about it if I want to. Now,
No double jeopardy here.
yeah. So we'll censor all the gory details of my dumb decision making, and we'll get to when he pulls up behind me in an unmarked car and arrests me in my garage, and he doesn't even know the Miranda right. So I start saying them to him because I know them. He gets angry. He's like, "You shut up! You shut up!" I just tell him, "Fuck you." Look him right in the eyes. That didn't make him too happy, so he calls his captain over, and his captain decides to get a little more ballsy and say, "Yes, fuck." That is exactly no. Continues to tell me that if I keep resisting, I'm gonna have to get batoned. So I told him, "Do it." And they told me what I did and dragged me out to their car in front of my entire neighborhood. Yeah. And my hand hasn't been the same since, so glad you resigned.
Damn.
Hope it
That's
reaches
hella
you.
Shit. Did he actually resign?
Yeah, I think he got rough. Don't quote me on it, but I think he got rough with like a high school kid who wasn't 18 yet. Did the same shit. Yeah.
Oh. Well, because them trying to detain you without reading your Miranda rights invalidates everything during the arrest. They can't use any of it as evidence, and they likely would have
That's
tried to,
why
and it would have
they lost
made the
like
entire
3
case.
out of the 4 that they had on me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that's like complete bullshit, and they know they can't do it, and there's no point in them continuing to try. You know, it's just like
Stop.
call somebody over, have them read
Just
it for
stop.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're not gonna get anywhere, and I'm gonna prove it wrong.
The fact that I remembered that from high school in the state I was in and could tell it to him like that means he should probably have lost. So I'm not questioning the judgment.
And that's like one of the most basic things, because it's like police officers also are like protecting the Constitution and all of the laws in it, and so unless they actually know it, then they shouldn't be a cop. You know. Do you have a story now?
You know, I haven't had the worst time. I haven't had any. I guess I wouldn't say any of them are outright bad, encounters. Fucking mall cops though. You can go fuck yourself. I hate mall cops.
I have heard this one.
I mean,
Is this when you got kicked
now
out?
I've been kicked out of the mall a couple times. This is during high school. Of course, I didn't go to high school for my full length period of time. I'm glad for that. Not best experience, but and I did kind of get arrested at my high school's prom one year. But and it's like, as you said before, the police officer they get rough even with people that are underage in the high school. It's like I'm being put into the concrete, getting handcuffed, not should really not even be allowed to touch anybody.
Can I ask you why you got arrested?
At the prom? Well, I'm just starting shit. It wasn't just me, but I think the mall story is a little bit more interesting, but there's not really a lot to go.
Do the mall.
Well, in our local West Mall that we have here, ghost town, and it always has been. And going through, and I'm not in the sane state, just say that. And some fat guy on a Segway comes up and is wondering why I'm like, slopping through the damn mall. Now this is back, they have like the kiosks and stuff still in the mall still, so kind of walking around. So he's actively following me around the mall. I go into Bath and Body Works,
Get some bath bombs.
I'm just looking around. I'm 14. I don't remember, but I'm going around in Bath and Body Works. I trip and I fall over one of the shelves. And I get really, really pissed off that there's some lotion that fell on me. So I start destroying a couple of the other, little shelves in there. The mall cop starts chasing me around, on the Segway. And of course, you know how easy it is to outrun a Segway? You know how easy it is? Especially when you go down the escalators.
I saw a
real easy.
video. I saw a video of a Segway attacking somebody. They lost control of the Segway and it's fucking spinning on the ground. This guy tries to step on it to stop spinning, and the fucking Segway arm sweeps his leg and he falls on the fucking ground. He's just getting hit by this fucking Segway. Oh, you do?
I've never been, arrested or detained or anything by a mall cop, but I have certainly been harassed by them. Fuck mall cops. That's all I have to say about it, I guess.
A dookie off a roof.
What's it doing?
Yeah, you know what's worse about like private security people? Depending on who they are, a lot of them are just cops that got fired, and so they're even bigger douches because they like already had a small dick. They went to get a small dick job, and then they lost it for having too small of a dick, so they went even smaller.
Millimeter Peter now.
Got a fucking millimeter Peter.
We're all fucking stretched.
No, I'm really wide. I guess I'm just kind of naturally wide, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my worst police story.
Yeah.
My grandma knows about this. My dad.
Like that time you hit that red car outside of the CC's.
I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah, you do.
Maybe.
So this was when I was younger. I was, I don't know, 12. I had airsoft guns, right? So over by my grandma's house, she lives in Hutch, and if you go, I think west, we call it the dike. It's this big ass fucking river, or it's for overflow from rain.
Ditch, a runoff ditch, yeah.
Yeah, it'll fill up. So when you cross the bridge, you're now technically not in Hutch anymore. I had my airsoft guns out. You can't have your airsoft guns out in public in Hutchinson city limits. And so, me fucking around. Well, there's someone shooting. I'm assuming it was with a bump stock, but there was, or either that or they were bump firing. But it sounded like a machine gun. They're shooting rapid fire at the time. And somebody heard it and called the police. I didn't see where it was coming from. All I could do was hear it. And so someone called the police out, and all of fucking Hutchinson showed up. All of them. Some of them had their guns. It started with one cop, and this cop from across the river had his fucking gun pointed at me. And when all the police force came out, there was this one really nice cop who came up and was talking to me. I think he was a sheriff deputy or maybe a sheriff. He was asking me like, "All right, did you do this?" He's like, "No, this is a fucking toy. This is a toy. This is not."
Pick it up. Look at it.
Does
It's
it
a
have
toy.
has the orange chip on it?
Yeah, it did. It did. I had two with me. Both of them had the orange tip. He said, "Well, you're not supposed to be pointing this at people." I was like, "I never pointed at anybody." I guess the other cops said I was pointing it at him, which didn't happen. So yeah, it was kind of fucked. It was kind of freaky. Nothing happened that came out of it. He said, they said there was a rifle bag. Do you have a rifle bag? I said, no. He's like, you didn't like put it over there in one of the bushes? Like, no, you can go look. One of the cops went and looked. Same guy came and was talking to me. He's like, I took like a fucking wooden stick and shaved it down, make it look like a bayonet. He's like, why do you have that on there? He's like, I made a bayonet. He's like, oh, okay. And then that was it. He's like, all right, you just have to go home.
If that's your worst police, damn.
That was the worst. It was.
I want your
It was
story.
just that they had their guns drawn. That was the worst part about it.
Head out now before anything else gets too intense. When's the next podcast going?
I don't know. Probably at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Since I'm on second, at the very least.
Let me know when.
Yeah. I might see if Trevette wants to do the next
That'd
one
be
since
cool.
we have actually a nice way to do it now.
That'd be cool.
So all right. See you, Dad.
Bye, Quentin.
Don't fuck with it. Don't fuck. So, if you want to sit there now, you can. So that way you're like a little. Bye, Dad. I'll see you next Saturday.
Bet.
A whole 5. Yeah. Well, last time we averaged like 9 on Twitch, which was surprising for me. I was only streaming to Twitch though, but I also posted the link on Facebook, so I'm sure there were technically Facebook viewers. But yeah. So now it's Thomas. It's just Thomas.
Hot seat.
I feel like we have to talk about like Tool and DMT.
I know. We're talking to Thomas. Have you seen Tool?
Not live, no. This was gonna be the year that Rona hit.
Yeah.
See, I really wanted to see them when they were coming to, or since they were coming to interest. I just don't know if I could afford the tickets.
It was a lot. Nosebleeds were like 200 still. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Super expensive, and I don't
They're
know.
proud of their shit.
Tool's definitely a band I want to see, but I feel like the easiest way to see Tool is at like a festival.
Yeah,
like
a large
spend the
ticket.
money
Yeah,
on
spend it on
a
2-day
big-
pass or something. Yeah, I got
on
you.
a big festival and go see a lot of good bands because they normally tour with some really cool ones or do festivals with really cool bands.
Yeah. I want to see Tool. I want to see Joe Rogan more though.
I'm gonna go see Bert Kreischer. He comes to the Orpheum.
Yeah, I have a friend who's going to see that with him and his wife.
Sick.
I have a question. What's your favorite Tool song?
Rosetta Stoned.
100%.
That or Third Eye.
Do you just appreciate Rosetta Stone being a giant DMT trip?
It's an homage to almost every altered state of consciousness. That's
Yeah.
that's the beauty of that state of awareness. I think if you're able to bring it back,
Your USB port.
then you really can have some art that really stands the test of time. Excuse me.
I know. I love all the fucking DMT art.
Oh, yeah.
Especially all the shit Tool has.
Last time I did allegedly did mushrooms. I changed the background. That looks great.
Last time I did mushrooms, I deleted 1,500 photos. Off my phone.
That is true.
Hey man, your brain was squeaky clean in the morning.
Like 3. It took like 2 hours just because I was scrolling through slowly, individually
picking all the bats out of the belfry, man.
What is your favorite Tool song, Matt?
I don't know. Let me look. Come back to me on that.
All right. I know mine is definitely The Grudge for sure.
That's better. That's way better.
Way
It doesn't
nice.
look. We don't look as fucking Stewie like.
Yeah, I think I just dig The Grudge's vibe. Like, it's super like atmospheric for a lot of it, but it's also really heavy when you want it to be. And I also really like the super long Maynard scream on that one.
That one and Third Eye are probably two of the longest ones. That's why I like Third Eye a lot.
Patience. I like the patience.
Dig that. I dig that one too. It's
I
really
like
hard
the
to pick a
riff.
favorite. Yeah.
It is. But like my favorite album, obviously, Loud Rouse all over.
Yeah,
I like the concept for it.
I don't think I've
fuck
actually
with it.
looked into the concept behind it.
It's more the mathematics behind, you know.
Is that across the entire album though?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
That's why they have the dissection.
See, because I had always thought that was mainly just on the song.
Yeah.
That sounded nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
Probably broken eardrum or two. Yeah.
I don't know. For concepts, for me, I think my favorite concept album is still probably like Beyond Metropolis Part 2 is definitely Octavarium.
Yeah, I like my favorite concept album is Metropolis Part 2.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Well, I don't know. Because Octavarium's not as defined in like concept. Like it's like just
mean,
like
that's the
mainly
one-
about going in a circle, but
That's the one where like every song's like a different key. Like,
Yeah,
or it's not
yeah.
necessarily a different key, but it goes in order.
yeah, so they start in like A minor and then they go up by half steps. So their transitions go up by like a half step and then the next song is up a whole step. So they play through every single key possible.
That's a music.
But the last song, Octavarium, is essentially about the whole concept, which is about moving in a circle. So what's really cool is it's more or less them talking about themselves, their musical journey, like essentially like wanting to not just sound like their influences, to define themselves, be their own band, but feeling like they're constantly moving in a circle and just coming back to their original sound. So when you listen to the song, they actually put little Easter eggs of other songs. So there's actually like a part where you can hear like the Bohemian Rhapsody piano part because it plays right into the exact same melody.
I have to check this
as
out.
Octavarium.
This out tonight. Like
If you there's a section in the song like right as it starts to build up where they start where like the singer starts screaming like trapped inside this Octavarium. Right before that, all the lyrics are them actually just telling you what every song on the album was about because it's going in another circle of it explaining everything
Is that
on the
the
album.
one where they're talking about a bunch of different like social icons? Like there's a one where he brings up Diamond Dave.
Yeah, so there's a whole section of the song that let me pull up the lyrics.
We'd have him do it if you want.
Yeah.
Octavarium.
It's OCT AVA.
oh yeah, I fuck with this.
Okay, so actually go back up just right there. So right here where it says the sailing on the seven seas, the day tripper, DM's ready, Jack the Ripper, Owens, Wilson, Phillips, and my supper's ready. so all that it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamond Dave.
But it's all it's all of their inspiration. So if you look, you can find like Day Tripper and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is obviously just Beatles songs. Diamond Dave is David Lee Roth. DM's ready. Carpe Diem is a big thing in their song Change of Seasons. Owens Wilson Phillips. Supper's Ready is a Genesis song. Nightmare cinema is the antonym of dream theater.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it's flipping. Yeah, I get it.
And then there's like, the lyrics like running forward, falling back, spinning round and round, looking outward, reaching in. It's like constantly moving in a circle. So the whole album is kind of following that. Now every song is not specifically about that, but if
It's
you
not
look
so
through
like
it,
tongue in cheek about it. Kind of.
yeah, this song is where they really like hit home the concept, and they're just talking about like moving in circles.
So this would be their Lateralis. What you're saying?
Oh, I think it's way more
Yeah.
complicated than
Okay.
Lateralis, because there's also like 5 and 8 pop up a lot, so a lot of this is in 5 and 8. There's like a ton of stuff that like I can't even find all of it. Like also like what happens across all of these. So from Metropolis Part 2 up until this album, so the end of Metropolis Part 2 is like rain falling, and the start of the next album is that exact same soundbite, and it starts on the same key, and so it does that for every single album.
So it's got
and it ends on
continuity.
this
All of the
album.
albums.
Yeah, so it's literally like ending on the same note that their album from 2000 ended on, and this album's in like 2010, or not 2010, like 2008 or so. So
Geography now.
yeah, it's really cool. Like not a lot of people know about it because it's super in depth and really,
Yeah, I mean-
really over the top. But it's super cool.
I think it'd be cool to do something similar to that, but more of the key wise.
Yeah.
Constantly. I think that would be.
Well, one thing I always thought would be cool to do for a song, I don't remember the term for it. So like in the English language where there's words that you can say the exact same forward as you can backward,
Race car.
like phrases.
Race car. Palindrome. Yeah, you got it.
Palindrome. I think it'd be cool to make a whole song like that, so you actually structure it the same, and your lyrics are all palindrome. So when you play it in reverse, it doesn't sound very much.
Better,
different.
yeah, you better get a book of them. Yeah. Race car. Race car. Race car. Race car. Race car. Yeah.
Actually, I think if I would have brought the notebook, I actually went through like a huge ass list of palindromes just to look for shit that kind of like would work as lyrics, and I have like a huge ass list of shit. So I think it'd be pretty cool. To try.
But you already went and you.
It'd be really hard to
You already
do.
went and you looked up like all of these, you know? It'd be a little mean to be like, nah, bro, scrap it.
What's hard is like every time you have a section, you'd have to make it climax in the middle of the section, like on each section, and then have it like build up and then build and de-escalate, so that every section like fits. And then when you play it backwards, it's the exact same.
That would be.
Yeah, that would be weird. That would be weird. You never make any climax.
Yeah, until like the very
all of it's the same.
until it's like the very
beginning
middle.
and the very end.
Just put a chorus in the very middle and have the biggest part of it right at the middle.
Well, I was saying you could do the whole palindrome thing, but have a climax at the beginning, climax at the end, so that way when you listen to it backwards, it's literally the exact same thing as it starts. Same palindrome type shit. Would all the riffs be backwards?
Do you gotta play the drums actually backwards?
You have to play
Yeah,
the
you
second
have to
half
play it
You gotta write it
backwards.
so like, okay, this way, you know?
Yeah. It'd be fucking weird. It'd be
Big
hard.
break
but-
and you just swap drum sets so that way.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah, turn it all around, yeah.
Shit. That shit would be wild. That would be some dope shit though. I want to write a song making fun of Limp Bizkit.
Damn, that's cold.
Fuck Limp Bizkit.
My way.
Fuck Fred Durst.
Copyright, Limp Bizkit. 19 something?
I don't
90
I don't give a
something.
shit because
Fred Durst.
Limp Bizkit sucks.
Not a big fan. Not a big
What?
fan.
I fucking hate him. I fucking hate Limp Bizkit. I fucking hate Fred Durst.
Do you like Limp Bizkit?
Hell no.
I mean, there's some of their songs. It's like, okay, well, you have like a cool guitar tone and you have a cool riff, but then he starts singing and it's like, all right, I don't.
They have one entertaining song, and it's not even their song. It's just a cover. It's "Faith" by George Michael,
Oh yeah.
and they covered that, and it's just because it's funny. But no, they're bad. Anyone who listens to them is a troglodyte.
Can we get a definition of that?
A troglodyte? It's
Yeah.
like a prehistoric human, I believe. Stop yelling.
Oh.
So I guess another question. My uncle asked me this question quite a bit. But if you were gonna listen to only one band
a person who lived in the cave
for the rest
right.
of your
Rush.
life,
Already got the answer, Rush.
100%
100% Rush.
Who would you do?
I can't do it. I can't listen to, like, there's very few bands where I can listen to the album over and over and over again. And the only band I can think of off the top of my head where every song is just like nonstop entertaining is End Ever After, and they're not together anymore. But I listen to too much shit. I listen to way too much stuff just to be like, all right, I could give you 10 albums I could listen to for the rest of my life, and every single one would be a different genre.
Yeah, top 3 would be a better choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. My problem is like with this one, like obviously like the easiest thing for me is Dream Theater, but at a certain point, it's like, do you pick your favorite band and then hate them at the end of it? Or, I've thought about Pink Floyd because they have a huge discography, but at the same time, not all of it's that great. Zeppelin's another good one.
So my question is, can you listen to okay, if you're going band and you go listen to all of their discography, I can give you an answer.
Yeah.
But if you're saying listen to one album for the rest of your life,
oh no, one band. One
yeah.
band.
See that? Okay. That one's another one I could think on. I'd have to think on. I would have to something that's entertaining but still influences me in some way.
Yeah.
Even if they're not necessarily metal, I would have to say probably Pink Floyd or King Crimson. Just because a lot of their shit's so different, it would be like listening to one specific
I get that.
sound over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to talk about, like, I guess if it was going to be bands, like, once they're done making music, then I would say, like, Caligula's Horse, because I like everything on all of their albums I've heard
Caligula's Horse, yeah.
from so far.
That would be enjoyable. Brandon, who would you pick?
Who would I pick to listen to for the rest of my life?
For the rest of your life.
Well, considering that I've been listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers almost exclusively since like 2006,
That wouldn't be a bad option, to be honest.
they're so good.
That's
No, I've been listening to Stadium Arcadium nonstop. Okay.
See, I was doing that for a while with, like, Californication. I love that album. I listen to that album so much.
I recently just put By the Way in my car because, I got tired of, like, switching CDs. Because, like, they have 2 CDs in that album. So I switched over to Californication and I just play that whenever I commute to work. Not Californication, By the Way.
yeah.
I like Californication the most just because there's so many songs that are really popular on it, so it's really easy to sing along to everything on it.
Radio play.
Most radio plays.
Yeah, because there's Scar Tissues on there, obviously Californication. Yeah.
The guitar on that song.
Mm-hmm.
What songs are?
Yeah,
I did know that. I did.
Yeah. I had seen stuff about that because actually a guy I watched, they didn't end up tuning it, but they picked the part really weird just so that it would ring a little bit different and it would get that higher interval like you need in Scar Tissue, but it was, yeah, he had mentioned that it's like very weird. Yeah.
Because it's the way that you tune.
Yeah.
Ever tune. Approximately.
No, that's actually what's interesting about like a lot of 80s guys like Eddie Van Halen or the guy in fucking I don't remember their name.
What song did he sing?
I literally can't even think of that.
Donks.
He does, it's George Lynch.
Oh, fucking Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins. Yeah, Dawkins or like Van Halen, both of those guys. So what they would do is they would just sit their guitars on a stand until they would come back into the studio again. And when they would come in the studio the next day, it would be really out of tune. And then the bass player would just tune off of him. So that's why they have these like guitars that are like 75 cents flat or like 25 cents sharp or just weird like
because
tunings
they were
that aren't
too
right.
fucking coked out to tune them.
Dude, for
Yeah,
fucking
and I know
John
Frusciante was one of those where it was just like
46, not 4.
have you actually
432.
It's 432 because they're trying to control your mind because you're. I've heard so many people who think that.
I've watched a video.
432 is the resonance of the earth.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's the human resonance.
It's supposed to be
Okay.
the Schumann resonance.
Human.
And it's supposed to align with the golden ratio,
That's
which is
stupid.
like mathematical ratio.
Notes are
like,
arbitrary.
Like if you look at like a tree's rings, the tree's rings are based on a golden ratio, or like rose petals are based on golden ratio. The Fibonacci sequence is like an accurate
The only important thing for
representation of
music is the interval between the notes. We don't care where you start from. It's arbitrary.
Well, yeah, that's what's interesting is like actually like way back in the 1600s or 1500s, they started at like 420 or like 415 was about where they were at. And they slowly progressed up, and then it was only recently, probably within the past 100 years, that they chose to do the 440 as the standard. but actually, I watched a video from Adam Neely, and he was showing 432, and he tuned his piano to it, and he would just he hit a chord, and it just sounded like dog shit.
It sounds so shit.
It actually just depends completely on what is tuned to 432 and in what way. Like he tuned every note based on 432, hit a chord, and it was just bad. Like you could play the piano in my house, and it would sound similar to 432. It was terrible.
Well, yeah, it fucking. The Chinese government's trying to steal your information with TikTok.
Okay, but
Is that right?
there's funny shit on TikTok.
I don't give a fuck, Chinese
Look,
government.
look, isn't TikTok partially owned by Tencent?
I don't know.
Tencent is like a really big company based in China.
Well, yeah. Well, so with the
Don't
problem,
you pay
the
for
problem,
Disney Plus?
huh? Disney Plus, yeah, but it's a year.
Yeah, but they're Chinese conspirators.
Are they?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, kill Disney. They shouldn't have a monopoly, anyways.
A monopoly on what?
The world. Disney has a monopoly
On my childhood movies? No, DreamWorks. Shrek was DreamWorks.
Shrek is the only the only DreamWorks movie, animated movie that matters. Same with The Incredibles.
I'm trying to come up with a good, a good comeback to that.
What all are DreamWorks?
DreamWorks movies are the ones. Oh,
The
Megamind.
good ones.
Megamind was amazing.
Weren't they How to Train Your Dragon too, right?
Yeah, they were also
How to Train Your Dragon, Madagascar.
I never watched that. Madagascar,
Shrek.
You lied. You done said some
There-
bullshit.
What?
Kung Fu Panda.
dude. All the
I said DreamWorks are the best ones.
Oh, I thought you said the only ones that mattered were Shrek and Incredibles.
No, I said
No.
no. I meant like DreamWorks overall.
Actually, aren't all the Pixar movies produced by
no.
No, Pixar's Disney.
just its own production?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but
also
Disney owns them.
Disney does 3D stuff now, but it's apart from Pixar. So like Frozen is not Pixar, but
That's
Cars
not,
is
go back
Pixar.
real quick. Night of the Living. Oh, okay, no, that's the name of it. I was like, that's
Branding
not Night of the
issues.
Living
Oh
Carrots.
look, we got some. Hey, I want food. Give it up.
Same.
Fancy.
Remember when that girl talked to you? Said, "What are you eating?"
Yeah, called me out of nowhere.
I don't even. You didn't even know who.
Trying
it
to
was.
lay the rock.
What's
down.
it on? Is it on Facebook or Twitch? I don't know. Who are you? No, Oshi Fancy.
I'm shedding my lizards.
You'll become one with the beasts of the field soon.
I'm a lizard person.
I haven't watched the when they came back yet,
neither.
so I've only watched the first half.
It's pretty good. My little because progress the story enough. I'm like, they had an episode dedicated to why they're not progressing this because like
Is Justin Roiland still voicing?
he's voiced pretty much everybody. Yeah,
Well, I mean, like, didn't they say he's leaving?
I didn't hear anything about that.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Justin
couldn't
Roiland's
find
leaving.
anything online about that because I was looking for stuff about that and I really couldn't find.
I'm here
anything
for the
about it.
mukbang. I don't know what this
Yeah.
That tree
On
fit.
camera for you.
Rick and
Rick and Morty. What are you doing?
Okay, never mind. They said Rick and Morty writer, not Rick and Morty producer. Not the vote, not Justin.
If Justin Roiland left, it would die.
Yeah,
It wouldn't even have
it's
noticed.
Jessica Gao. She's writing for something for I think Hulu.
But she was
Um,
the one.
She was the one that left. Which she's one of the writers, which I mean could hurt the story, could not hurt the story. Depends on how strong of a writer she was, and the whole
I don't
point.
know. The thing with Rick and Morty though is a lot of it is really just driven forward based on what Justin Roiland feels like doing because like half the dialogue in the show is literally like especially Universal Television, like that's literally just whatever, what random shit can I make up on the spot and then just saying to the microphone to fill in the fucking time in
Well,
this episode.
I know a lot of it when fucking Rick was drunk. Justin Roiland had to be drunk to do it.
Acted it.
Yeah.
There was this in the exact transcription. They took that course and put it in Rick. Have you seen that?
Uh-uh.
Okay,
Can you pull it up? Can you play it on stream?
Yeah, we're watching it right now. Okay.
Oh,
Got a big old dick. You can
Georgia.
suck, Morty. Dub.
Oh.
I haven't seen this. The audio gonna play?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Second.
I might have seen.
I might have seen this.
Honorable Judge Morty.
Desktop.
It's not gonna fuck up anything on the stream, will it?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Allen,
Right.
I believe that your case was going to trial not this Monday but the following Monday. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, I tell you, if you need to tell me something, I'll let you come up here to the podium so you can speak into the microphone and I can hear you.
Yes. The attorney here. I'm wanting to fire him.
Uh-huh.
And I don't feel like he's doing any.
Who are you going to hire?
I'm not gonna hire nobody. I'm gonna try to get a different public defender.
There isn't. You have a right to an attorney.
This lawyer has.
You don't have a right to a specific attorney.
This lawyer has made sexual advances on me. He's misrepresenting my case. He told me if I wanted him to do
This
a
is
good job, I
unaltered.
had to let him give me oral sex.
is like
He's
a-
had
This
doctors
happened
at
in real life.
Central State Hospital put a
He's had
false
doctors at Central State Hospital.
put a false diagnosis on me.
Okay, I don't. I know Mr. Wyatt pretty well, and I don't think he has the ability to make doctors at Central State do anything.
Well, they did it, and he's the one that had me sit down there.
Well, they may have done it, but I don't think that he had anything to do with it.
All right, well, he won't give me the discovery.
I'm.
There's things in discovery he's supposed to give me the incident and told me that it was the discovery.
Okay.
They're alternating
Okay.
documents that I've read.
If you want the indictment, I'll make sure you get a copy of the indictment.
No, I'm saying I got the indictment, but he's not complying with discovery.
Okay.
I'm supposed to get the autopsy report, the coroner report, pictures of the crime scene,
Coroner report?
criminal background records. I want.
Is this a murder?
In the county jail.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get the criminal background records, investigational summaries.
Mr. Wyatt, what discovery do you have?
Given him everything I have.
You've given him everything you have?
Yes, sir.
He's given you everything.
This is a murder case, and this is a murder case, and you're telling me the only thing on discovery is a 4-page indictment?
I don't think he's saying that. I think he's saying he's given you everything he has.
He ain't giving me no autopsy report. He ain't giving me no coroner's report. He ain't giving me.
Well, it may be that he doesn't have that. I don't
no,
know.
it gets
That's what I've
worse,
been
but
trying
like
to get.
on top
He
of
didn't give
him
me
not having anything,
pictures of the crime scene. I've seen other people
this
go
gets
to
really
trial
interesting
on
real
murder
quick.
charges. I've seen what you're supposed to get. I'm not going to work with this attorney.
Well,
It's not gonna happen.
You've got.
I'm not going to trial with this attorney.
Well, you've got two choices. One, you can go to trial with them, or two, you can try the case yourself. Now, I definitely completely think that's.
And I've got a right to have.
Wait a minute. Listen to me. That would be the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life.
So basically, you're sitting here telling me
Now, you
you're
have
gonna
a-
find me guilty if I go to trial and try to defend myself.
You're probably right. That would be my guess if you try to defend yourself. You don't know anything about selecting a jury, do you?
No.
Do you know anything about cross-examining witnesses?
No.
Do you know anything about criminal procedure?
I know I don't have to let
Do you know anything?
this guy suck my
Let me
to get
let
some
me,
legal representation.
You know something? I'll be honest, Mr. Allen. I really don't believe that.
Well, I'm not concerned if you believe it or not.
But
I'm supposed to have a right to an attorney, and I'm not gonna work with this attorney.
Well, that's up to you.
So I hold myself in contempt if you try to pull me up here to court with that attorney.
That's fine. I mean, that's up to you. I told you what your choices are. You can go to trial.
I'm just telling you.
Listen to me.
I'll hold myself into contempt.
Listen to me.
You.
Listen to me.
Go yourself. I'm through here. Y'all done?
I'm finding you in contempt of court.
I don't care.
I know you don't, and I sentence you to 20 days for that. And if you say anything else, I'm gonna add 20 days for everything you say.
You.
40 days. you again. 60. Go yourself.
A year.
Your mama.
10 years.
Suck my
You know something? This is going to be an interesting trial.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You're not supposed to smile in court. You know that if you smile,
I can smile anytime I want.
it's a violation. Now you're cussing and yelling
I
at me.
have not cussed.
Yeah, you did.
I am yelling.
Well, go yourself. Suck my
That's why I'm yelling.
Suck my
You know something? You are absolutely the rudest person I think I've ever met.
You reckon if I let you suck my that I could get a fair trial here?
Oh, I don't think so.
I got a big now, and if I pull it out,
I don't think that's gonna get you a fair trial unless you have
I'm done.
every one of the jurors do it.
I don't think that mouth is big enough, sir. I've got a big old donkey.
You know, I'm sure mine's not.
I've got a big old donkey for that ass.
Good. I'm sure the women love it.
I don't girls.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
I boys.
Oh, I'm sorry. You prefer men.
I boys.
You prefer men, right?
I white boys.
You white or black?
White boys.
Oh, butt boys?
With big butts.
Oh, of course. You know, you look like a queer.
Well, okay, so now you're calling me a queer in the courtroom?
I didn't call you one. I said you looked like one.
You're yelling.
Do you understand the English language?
Wait, you're yelling, you're laughing.
Do you
I don't
understand
remember what the
English
outcome of this
language?
case was.
This is
I
kangaroo
don't imagine
court,
it went
sir.
very
You
favorably.
know what? No, we're not in Australia.
I mean, if you want to suck my you can do it any time now. We can
Oh,
get this
you're
court order.
so smart.
Do we have to court order this?
You're so
Okay,
funny. You're so
either-
cute.
Can we get a court
that
order
guy
to
was
get
the
my
smartest
suck,
man on
sir?
earth,
So
or
cute.
that was
I
the
know
shittiest
all
judge
the
ever.
inmates just love you to
were
death.
both
Oh,
doing
yeah.
Oh, I bet.
All the white
They
butt
realized
boys
they
love
had
me
a
to death,
moment
too.
of
Okay,
true
well,
human
I bet
connection
they do,
where
and
you
I
meet
bet
a
all the
fellow
rest of them do
intellectual.
too.
You ain't supposed to smile in court.
I bet everybody enjoys sucking your.
You ain't supposed to be smiling in court. That's a violation.
I can smile anytime my dadgum want to.
Now you're yelling at me again.
I am. I'm yelling.
You're getting mad.
Can you hear me?
You're shaking.
I am yelling at you.
Well, reckon you can suck my
Yelling.
Can you take a break?
Yelling.
Can you take a break?
I'm yelling at you.
Can you take a break?
Yelling.
Can I get my sucked?
Can you hear me? Yelling.
Can I get my sucked?
Yelling. Yelling.
You ready to suck now? Have you got it all out?
You know something?
You will, but you want me to you in the butt then, right?
Oh my goodness, you've got plenty of that over in jail.
I could see it in you when I came in the court.
Okay, that's fine. You're gonna be here. Let me tell you how this is gonna work. You're gonna
You
be.
ain't gonna tell me shit.
Listen.
Suck my.
Shut up. Listen to me.
Suck my. You man.
Listen.
Suck my.
You will be here in the court on
You'll
Monday.
be here sucking my.
You will listen to me now.
Go yourself.
Okay, I'm going
I've
to
seen
tell
it
you how
so
this
many
is gonna
times,
work.
and it doesn't
You either
get
listen
old.
or not. I don't care.
I'm through. Can I
The
leave the
wildest part
courtroom?
about this
No.
is
No,
this
you've
is a
got to
real
stay
court
here.
No, I'm not talking to the bastard.
We are going to have the trial
American
Monday
court's
week.
beautiful.
No, the we are.
It's
I ain't
amazing.
going to trial with this lawyer present.
Listen, if you do not
Suck my. You stinking ass cracker.
if you
I didn't
act
watch
like
that.
this, if you act like this, I will send you out of the courtroom.
Bitch ass cracker.
Leave you out of the courtroom during the trial.
Horse ass cracker.
Do you understand
Horse
that?
ass sucking ass.
Do you understand that?
They're
Do you
developing
understand
a
that?
ass
a
cracker.
Do you
li-
understand
or a
that?
Tiger
Mad,
King
ain't
movie,
you?
Stupid.
Red face.
like an actual
Listen.
movie. I
Listen.
think Nicolas Cage is gonna play
Yes,
Joe
I am.
Exotic.
This is kangaroo court.
You know what? You have a constitutional
I'd rather have
right
Owen
to
Wilson.
be a dumbass.
Why don't you
Wow.
jump up on the stand?
Either of those
Jump
people are
around.
mean. You'd just be like, wow.
Suck my. I ain't listening to nothing you
It's
say.
still going. Oh my
No,
god.
it goes on for a minute. Yeah, it goes on for like another 2 minutes.
9
yeah.
minutes.
Their brains out with a f***ing hammer and feed them.
Are you taking this down? Yes, sir. Okay, I'm going to refer you to the
Are you taking this down? Yeah, exactly.
I'm just telling
I
you.
thought you were referring to my mother man.
Aggravated assault, terroristic threats, and we'll just
I
add
don't give
to
a
it.
I will murder you, your whole family, your kids. I am not supposed to be in jail. I was framed. That motherfucker asked me
was
to eat
framed.
ass for a bag of coffee.
Well,
And
you
you're telling me that this
motherfucker had you
man over here.
You're obviously
He's probably a pedophile.
You're obviously fixated on butts and.
Huh? I'm fixated on your mouth.
No, you're fixated.
Oh, Lord.
You gotta have a big old mouth to get this in it. I'll make sure the next time I come to court, I'll pull it out and jack on you.
Okay, why don't you do that right now?
I jack on white boys.
Why don't you do that right now?
Do it right now.
Can't do it now.
Do it
I
now.
ain't got-
Do it now.
Take off the cuffs.
How many hands do you have to do
Take
it?
off the cuffs.
How many hands do you have to do it? That's-
Court.
Come on.
Guess it's a viable question.
This is kangaroo court.
Jack off right now.
Are y'all getting this?
This is kangaroo court in response to jack off right
This guy
now.
done called me stupid. This motherfucker done told me he was gonna suck my.
I did not say that.
He wanted me to him in the butt.
I did not say that
Yeah,
either.
You're a real nasty ass judge.
I
This
am
is-
indeed, and you're going to find out
Now-
how nasty
I am
really
indeed, and you're going to find
Your
out.
whole family, bitch.
Okay, that's fine. You know, you'll be in jail so long you won't have a
The
chance.
babies will be going, Daddy, help me. I'm just gonna go. I'm just.
Okay, well, you know, if I had any kids, you'd probably be able to do that. But since I don't have any, it doesn't really
Well,
matter.
then I'll get your nieces, your nephews, your
It
sisters.
doesn't really matter. I don't have any of those either.
Grandkids.
I don't have any of those either.
Aunties, aunts.
How can I have grandkids if I don't have any kids?
Brothers, sisters.
Stupid. You know, you're just completely have no idea of the English
If
language.
you're not gonna suck my sir, I don't want to be here.
Okay, I've enjoyed this. I hope you have.
enjoyed
And
this.
Everybody else in the courtroom has enjoyed it, but you can go now. And if
All right, well,
if on Monday week this happens again, you will not stay in the
suck my
courtroom.
sir.
Okay.
I'm subpoenaing y'all's ass in the courtroom.
What the fuck?
Special thanks to the people of Georgia.
Wow.
Only in the South.
God's country.
I love America.
Any comments?
No.
Pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
Suck my cock.
How many hands do you?
Take off these cups. Jacket right now.
Right now. I don't want to do it.
Whack it.
Have you seen the Bush World Adventures? Don't play that one. It's long, but the Bush World Adventures one is funny. If you haven't seen it, it's Australian Rick and Morty, but Rick is fucking dumb. Like actually dumb.
Halfway.
Because I've watched it like 3 times, so I didn't finish it the third time. Yeah, I've watched it a fuck ton. It's pretty funny. If you got time when you're home, watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna announce season 4. I did this.
I heard about that.
Fucking love Rick and Morty. First
Oh,
season, in
no,
my
I
opinion,
said
still the best.
Have you seen Solar Opposite?
Yeah.
No, I have.
It's pretty good.
I like it
to
a
be
lot.
honest. It's a little bit different than Rick and Morty, but it's a lot of the same pace as it. It's just a lot more like based around the entire family rather than the family just kind of being there.
Yeah.
As a side grounding.
Yeah, like a plot device. I got you.
Yeah.
We were asked.
Go under. I'm gonna go under.
Have you guys heard of MKUltra?
Yes, a lot about MKUltra.
I love
yeah.
MKUltra.
You're getting into a
I
can
just
of
saw
worms.
this, or else we would have talked about it earlier. It doesn't. You don't know what MKUltra is?
No.
Oh,
CIA, baby. Let's get into it.
CIA did the secret government thing where they tried to do mind control, but they used different psychedelics to do it. So it's. I
As
don't know
we
if it
know
was
today, LSD 52.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about the only thing I know about the U.S. Government and drugs is that the Air Force invented amphetamines, I believe, to keep their pilots awake. Right. That's the only thing I learned about that one in psychology class.
Actually, I don't know. When you look at a lot of the drugs, it's actually very interesting. A lot of it is caused by our government, and yet they are waging war on the drug community. Like a lot of the cocaine and crack that exists here came from the Iran-Contra.
Shout out to Uncle Ronnie.
That Reagan administered and helped with. Marijuana is actually a racist name. The Juan in it is because so many Mexicans
and
were
African
using it that were
Americans.
coming over that this racist DA just was like, let's call it marijuana.
Yeah, what they were actually referring to was a specific type of tobacco.
A wild tobacco, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
they not even.
That's what the actual definition was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get back on MKUltra. So more of a conspiracy of a conspiracy.
Well, because MKUltra in itself is not a conspiracy.
No,
it really did happen, and there is government file on it, and they've released the government.
The ones they
So-
had.
So, do you know who Ted Kaczynski is, the Unabomber?
I know who the bomber is.
Ted Kaczynski who did it. There's actually theories that Ted Kaczynski was a part of MKUltra. He worked at the college where MKUltra was going on.
Sure, it was him.
Yeah.
The Unabomber.
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, you can just type in Unabomber, MKUltra. I'm sure something should pop up.
It sounds.
That could work, either that or. But yeah, there's a theory that MKUltra or Ted Kaczynski was a part of MKUltra, and that's why he had such a vendetta against technology and the way we were going. He wanted to start targeting more high-profile victims.
Project artist.
MKUltra's fucking crazy. Can you do Control F and then type in either Unabomber or Ted Kaczynski?
Yeah, right there.
American domestic terrorist known as the Unabomber was said to be a subject of voluntary psychological study, alleged to be some sources to have been part of MKUltra.
So,
That's interesting.
Lawrence Teeter was the attorney. Shahram, who can't tell you if I was pronouncing it right, but who assassinated Robert F. Kennedy, and he believed, quoting the attorney, right? Yeah. He was operating under MKUltra mind control. That's special.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, essentially, like, the majority of the conspiracy theory part is that they were actually successful and that they did find a way to do it. They just didn't release it.
Yeah.
But overall, it's said that MKUltra didn't work because they mainly experimented with psychedelics, and then they just found that it made people, like, unfunctional rather than mind control. So.
The other interesting one was, so there were people who alleged they could see in the future.
Yeah.
And
ESP.
the government tried to teach people how to use it, and some of them could,
Yeah.
and some of them supposedly could. Some of them it fucked them
Yeah,
up.
one of my good buddies, actually, his grandma who lives in Hawaii, he could remote view, and so he was brought. He was brought into like a big conference about that to see if they were like useful.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It's fucking wild. That shit's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing that was always really weird to me, you know that IQ test they actually used to use to
Racist.
well,
Yeah.
sort of racist, not completely
Borderline.
necessarily that they were aimed to be racist. It was what they used to do is they used to administer IQ tests, and if your IQ was below a certain amount, then they would actually stare or like make you infertile.
Yeah, eugenics. I think you're
Yeah,
talking
like
about.
yeah, eugenics. Yeah, and so we learned about this in psychology, but the problem is this was in the 1920s or so
Or
when
in
it
20s.
came out. So if you were a minority, you were probably still poor. I mean, slavery had ended, but most of the people that were slaves and stuff, or a minority being enslaved, were still stuck in the South and couldn't leave it. So a lot of these people are poor, so they're also illiterate. So they would essentially they would find them and they'd be like, "Oh, you're dumb," and it's like, "Well, why do you think they are?" And they've literally never been able to go to school because they're so poor. They would make them infertile. So there was over 50,000 black women that were made infertile.
Well, if you want to talk about that, you could go into Tuskegee. Is
Yeah,
it
the airmen. Yep.
poisoning. They
The
were
experiments with the airmen.
That one's
Pulling that up.
Yeah, that one is.
That one they sprayed syphilis on poor communities in St. Louis.
Yep.
This is the same government that cares for you, though.
Yeah,
They
this
love
is the
you.
same government you trust, and you stick to the two-party
They
system.
love you.
No, did you hear that? There was a nuke that dropped, but it didn't explode in North Carolina.
Yeah, and they
They
had
almost-
to remove it. Yeah.
They almost.
I didn't know that. That's
You
crazy.
don't know about
that?
It wasn't one.
It's two.
It was not one. It was two. So what happened is this plane had gone. It's on infographics actually. They have a whole episode about it. The infographic show on YouTube. And so what actually happened is this plane was flying and it had a malfunction and caught on fire, and they had to let go of their bombs, which were 2 atomic bombs. And they both had parachutes. Well, one of them, the parachute.
Four of them
Yes,
recovered.
it was like 3 of them had their parachutes activate. 1 did not. One of the parachutes that did activate did not completely, stop it. So 2 of them landed in trees just fine. One of them just had the tip land in the ground, but it did not
Didn't detonate,
explode
yeah.
because the parachute stopped it. And another one went and submerged itself 50 feet
They had to dig
underground.
it up.
So they covered it. No, they couldn't ever
they
get
couldn't
it
get
out.
it out, right?
So they covered it in concrete and then buried it and left it there. And they monitor the water and stuff there all the time just to see how radioactive it is.
Oh my god!
And then the other ones are kept in the
It's
Southwest.
just sitting in North Carolina, and it's not very.
That's unbelievably messed
It's
up.
not actually.
Oh, that
very
one is Spain.
far
Okay,
No.
never mind.
At all from I think Charlotte. I
Oh,
think
here it
it's
is.
pretty-
that's
The
it, right
Huffington
there.
Post. Here we go.
South Carolina. Sorry. Not.
What was the four
So,
in
It
Spain?
was outside of Hunter Air Force.
Why were they just actively in?
Decided to go back and check out the problem.
They were just. I think they were doing routine.
Accidentally
flies.
pushed those
He
So
reached
they
around the bomb. Oh my god! No, you gotta see this. How it messed up. He reached around the bomb to steady himself, but ended up grabbing the bomb's emergency release pin instead.
It was on accident.
whiff of history, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's been lots of bombs. Actually, you know what is funny? Just interesting info. So you know Bikini Bottom in SpongeBob?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know it's actually named after an actual testing
Bikini
site?
Atoll. Yeah.
Yeah, which like would make sense why there's
Why they
fish
could
that can walk
talk?
around and
Yeah.
talk.
Weird, huh?
That's weird.
Yeah,
Dude,
like it actually-
I knew SpongeBob was supposed to be an adult
Yes.
TV show.
Segue on. Why did they have Pantera do a whole score, right? If it wasn't an adult TV show.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Pantera does the whole score of the one where they're going down the hill
Extreme
in the
Sports.
clams.
The Extreme Sports
The
episode.
guitar and the drums and stuff. That's great. It's
yeah.
all
All
Pantera.
Back Daryl and Vinny.
Wow.
Yeah, and Vinny.
R.I.P.
playing. Yeah. Actually, it's pretty dope. But yeah. Oh, another good one is the Operation Northwoods.
Yeah, that's
I've never
Robert
seen that.
Fuller.
So this one is actually back in during like the Bay of Pigs era in Cuba. Essentially, they staged a fake. They were gonna stage a fake like invasion. I think either on U.S. soil or Cuban soil. But I believe it was here. They were pretty much just gonna attack a U.S. city and then blame it on Cuba so that we could go to war with
Pretty much.
Cuba. So, yeah, they were just gonna essentially kill innocent people here. To just go to war in Cuba and just say, yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. We
It's
learned
kind of
this.
like back in the Spanish. American
No,
War.
yeah, we did.
Spanish harbor there.
Oh,
Did we ever find out if that was a thing?
They never.
They
I
never-
know a fuck ton about
They
this.
Yeah, they've never proved if it was actually America or Spain that blew up that
But that
ship.
started the whole
If you
Spanish
wanna
American
talk
War.
about Operation Northwoods. This is one of the reasons they believe John F. Kennedy was assassinated was because they wanted to stage or they wanted a reason to attack Russia and Cuba at the same time. Because Russia wanted to move military bases to Cuba, and they didn't want that because it was too close. And so they were devising a plan. So what they were going to do was they were going to attack ally bases or ally places like schools, universities. They were also planning on attacking the U.S. public, the U.S. civilians. And John F. Kennedy's like, we're not going to do this. This is not okay. And so they believe that's why he was assassinated because his brother said he would do it, and he would be the next person in line. So they were going to put him into power, and then once they killed his brother, he was like, I'm not gonna fucking do this, because he knew they killed his brother.
Yeah.
They suppose that's why he was then killed. Granted, they can't. CIA will never come out and officially say that.
Yeah. Well, and just even beyond that, President Kennedy was pretty pro like
Getting rid of the Federal Reserve, pro civil rights.
pro
all
civil
that
rights,
shit.
which was a big thing. I know that's a big reason a lot of people think he was killed off or
That last speech. It's shady.
yeah.
Not alone the fact the CIA knew who killed him immediately.
When his last
Right away.
his last speech is like he even said he pretty much knew he was gonna die, right?
I actually haven't seen his last speech.
he opens up talking about secret societies in America.
Oh yeah. Let's look.
JFK. Yes. Wonder if there's like a video of that. Yep. Here.
I hope that's actually.
Oh, it's Bing. Probably worth the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would.
You're probably right.
Our hearts and our arms are open, and cause his light.
Oh, JFK. Here we go.
Camera footage.
This is 1962. Even 60 years.
I know now why everyone in Texas, Fort Worth, is so thin, having gotten up and down about 9 times.
This is what you do every morning. Mr. Buck, Mr. Vice President, Governor Conley, Senator Yarborough, Jim Wright, members of the congressional delegation, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Attorney General, ladies and gentlemen. 2 years ago, I said that, introduced myself in Paris by saying that I was the man who had accompanied Mrs. Kennedy to Paris. I'm getting somewhat that same sensation as I travel around Texas. Nobody wonders what Lyndon and I wear. But we're... got a letter from an irate constituent which said, during your campaign you promised to have the Sierra Madre Mountains reforested. You've been in office for 1 month and you haven't done so. Well, no one in Fort Worth has been that unreasonable, but in some ways he has had the Sierra Madre Mountains reforested. And here in Fort Worth, he's contributed to its growth. He speaks for Fort Worth. He speaks for the country. And I don't know any city that's better represented in the Congress of the United States than Fort Worth.
How much?
Go
that city responded to that.
Go to a minute 27.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably not.
He was talking a little bit about Fort Worth.
That call as it has through its history.
I think this is it.
Putting that pledge into practice ever since. And I want to say a word about that pledge here in Fort Worth, which understands national
Still talking about Fort Worth.
And its importance to the security of the United States. During the days of the Indian War, this city was a fort. During the days of World War I, even before the United States got into the war, Royal Canadian Air Force pilots were training here. During the days of World War II, the great Liberator bombers, on which my brother flew with his co-pilot from this city, were produced here. First non-stop flight around the world took off and returned here in a plane built in factories here. The first truly intercontinental bomber, the B-36, was produced here. The B-58, which is the finest weapon system in the world today, which it demonstrated most recently in flying from Tokyo to London with an average speed of nearly 1,000 miles per hour, is a Fort Worth project.
Yeah, it's fast as shit.
The Iroquois helicopter from Fort Worth is a mainstay
Super Fortress, that's like
in our fight against
the
the
jet
guerrillas
engine, right?
in South
I have no
Vietnam.
idea.
The transportation of crews between our missile sites.
I don't know that much about
is done in
planes.
planes produced
Basically,
here.
if you go really high up, you can get really good fuel economy.
So wherever the
Since there's no air
conflagration
resistance,
may
they're super
occur,
fast.
and in the last 3 years,
Yeah,
it's
like
occurred at
there's
least on
a lot of
occasion.
military
Laos,
planes end up flying in
Berlin,
space.
Could talk
Cuba,
about bubbles already
and it
now.
will again. Wherever it occurs, the products of Fort Worth and the men of Fort Worth provide us with a sense of security. And in the not-too-distant future, a new Fort Worth product.
You find a timestamp,
I'm
please?
glad that there was a table separating Mr.
Well, I have something
and
pulled up right
myself.
now,
New
but it's
Fort
only
Worth
audio.
product.
And it looks like this one says it's 19 minutes long. Well, this one only says
This
17
one's also
minutes.
saying it's in New York City, not in Fort Worth.
Oh, this is the Secret
The
Society.
TFX.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to just search up his secret talk?
You can if you want. Read the last lines of the speech JFK would have given the night of his assassination. Faint-hearted are needed, and our duty as the party is not our party alone, but to the nation, and indeed to all mankind. Our duty is not merely the preservation of political power, but the preservation of peace and freedom. So
we
let
go. We got
us
5
not be
minutes.
petty when our cause is so great. Let us not quarrel amongst ourselves when our nation's future. Let us.
Right here.
1 second. I have something pulled up real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The
very word secrecy.
Here, pause that real quick.
Yes, sir.
Let us stand together. So let's not be petty when our cause is so great. Let us not quarrel amongst ourselves when our nation's future is at stake. Let us stand together with the renewed confidence in our cause, united by our heritage of the past and our hopes of the future, and determine that this land we love shall not lead all mankind into new frontiers of peace and abundance. Those were the last lines he would have said on the night he was assassinated. Pretty fucked. All right.
Repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people,
What we were reading.
inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by
Everything
a
he said's
monolithic
going on right now.
and ruthless conspiracy
That one, this
that relies primarily on covert
Yeah.
means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead.
I already look sus in that picture, bro. I don't trust him.
Public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
A lot of the shit he said is already going on right now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucking gross.
Yeah, and he was like already talking about like all of the government wanting to operate more based on having a party win, subduing people, or forcing them to do things, and just having simple cooperation or anything.
How dare he? Bang bang. Bye bye.
Yeah. Withholding information from the public. That happens to us now. It's going on right now.
Like this. All the fake.
Yeah. He was talking about, I think he said something along the lines of presidents should not, fear scrutiny, and Trump,
from the press.
and yeah, from the press, from the people. Trump gets scrutinized all the time, and sometimes sometimes it's good. Sometimes, he comes back and he's like, I have very big hands. I have very large, like.
Who do that? Yeah.
The thing that's funniest to me is just like how many people like support him and think he's somehow different than like other politicians. It's like he's a billionaire.
He's one in the same.
How do you think he became a billionaire? He's a piece of shit.
With a small loan of $1 million.
Most billionaires get to their status by being a piece of shit. And he's been sued. He's gotten so many fines at his casinos for like forcing all of his black employees to get out, or when he shows up, all of the employees tell the black people to go to a different room. That way he doesn't fucking treat them like shit, or getting like literally like he had like a judge recuse himself pretty much just exclusively because he was Mexican.
Yeah.
Fucked up. Yeah. Say the least.
I don't know. I just hope more people choose to not just vote based on either Republican or Democrat. There's much better options, much better people who are actual real candidates, real Americans trying to help people.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
It's
I'll
just
let it call it.
fucking crazy. I want to talk about their album real quick.
Okay.
I'm pretty happy with the way it's going.
Yeah.
Can you play? Okay, I want you to go to my Google Drive.
Okay. Go.
Hopefully it doesn't reveal anything.
Probably.
I guess it's
It might.
probably.
Actually,
yeah.
I don't have screen sharing right now.
Okay. Go to Drive.
Go to Drive.
And then go to Abaddon. It should pop up as a folder once it loads.
Abaddon.
Yeah. I want you to play The King. Yeah. All of it.
All of it? Okay. We're just going to vibe to this? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down.
If
Skip around.
Open, please.
there you go.
There it is.
All in
Ambient.
its glory.
Scroll down. Oh shit.
This song makes my what?
Makes my butthole
Butthole
clench.
clench, yeah. You gotta finish the whole thought.
Click that one.
Which one?
That top
The King's
one.
March?
Yeah, and does it tell you the date it was posted? Can you see view details?
Well,
Sorry. Yep, okay.
What was the day?
June 11th.
June 11th. That was the most recent one, so play that one.
Okay. Here we go.
yeah.
Is it playing?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so hyped to release this song. Like it's not released yet. Just don't play all of it, but kind of skip around some.
I totally vibe with this.
Go.
Back a little bit.
to play the instruments. So talk about this. How long you been working on it?
So I don't know. This song's been definitely, we've been working on it for a while. I think when we had our last drummer, we kind of had the main riff that's going on throughout here. But we never really did much with it. And then like the whole first part of the song is actually kind of based on a Pink Floyd song called Echoes. Like a lot of it's based on that, and it has like a really chromatic riff, so that's why there's the really heavy odd sounding riff at the beginning. And this song is definitely the longest one on the album. It's 15.5 minutes, and I've probably been trying to like finish it for like 2 years essentially. Not like running total 2 years, but the idea and the concept of it has been around for a while. So
Sick. I'm with it.
I love 6/8. 6/8.
Yeah, a lot of this is just like 12/8, so it's that really, or 6/8, and it's that nice swing feel that keeps it like moving the whole time.
Oh yeah. I totally dig it when like I'm listening to a song and like the drum dude does a fill and it's in 6/8 to transition to another part. Like I love that.
Do we have anything truncated?
In this part coming up in the instrumental, there is a truncated polygon.
Wait for it coming up. You're gonna have to point it out because I've never heard it.
So you know where there's the 15/8 to 13/8? There's the part where it switches up a little bit and the drum part is just steady. That's actually a 7/8 truncated
Love
poly
that
right
right
there.
It'd be really cool if you could harmonize those.
I know, I was thinking about it. There's no harmonies in this one anywhere, and there is on quite a few of the other songs.
Yeah.
All right, here.
Oh no. Right here is where it starts. It's like 15/8, 13/8 to 15/8, something like that.
Right there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Right here. This is a truncated polygon.
Okay. That's some hot shit.
That part right there needs like doubled up some. Because that boom,
Yeah.
that can be so fucking heavy.
And the guitar and the keyboard are doing 7/8 the entire time doing it. So. And I think the only other weird types of stuff I do is in the next section. And so, actually, like right here in this instrumental section, so it's called the King's March, and what's probably going to happen lyrically is it's actually going to be like a sort of kind of like a fight between good and evil, more or less broadly, but kind of basing it today just on governments and stuff in general that are they're the king. And so it's going back and forth between these really dark sounds to like happier sounds like this, kind of like that constant fight between good and evil. So it's like even there in the music. So concept.
This section's so good. This section is so good.
This is not boring.
You know, if this was all like strings and shit, this part very much sounds like it could be in like a medieval setting, like very happy sounding.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to try and make a lot of the stuff definitely have more of like at least a Celtic or medieval type vibe, just so it fit the name and seemed appropriate. And especially a section like this, I figured was pretty appropriate.
I need to buy a loot before we put this on.
I want to take it right here and in like the main.
You get hurdy-gurdy going as well.
I want to
Need some flutes. You know anyone who plays a flute?
The recorder.
Be very appropriate.
The recorder in there.
I know someone who plays the skin flute. Not this guy.
Is it Quentin?
No. That's a question for him, not me.
And then I definitely wanted just some kind of laid out like this to make it sound like a lot of Dream Theater songs.
They never fucking resolve it.
Yeah, and then I wanted to do the never resolving thing just because it's interesting.
In what's the word?
Ambiguity. Yeah, I could make it just really stereotypical.
I'm
with
dumb.
Big D minor at the end, like you'd expect, and make it really big and grand. That's most fun.
Ambiguous.
Yeah.
Big ass fucking.
And I don't know. I like to go for the more conventional like composition stuff if I can, just to make it more interesting and listen to it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, this one will make it really hard to put together because of the weird truncated polyrhythms and all the weird shit going on.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun if we can get it. Because it's super cool.
It's gonna be a bite. It's gonna be a bite to chew.
It's gonna be a bitch. It's gonna take a lot of work.
This was the one I was listening to on like fucking repeat when I was driving over here.
We'll listen through the intro or the ending.
Another one I can't wait to get out is the ambient one.
Yeah.
Unless this is already out there floating around. It's not on DistroKid yet, but I wanted to wait till we had the other ones ready.
I'd watch it.
Yes. It needs to be louder. That's how I judge it in my car. If I can turn it to 30 and it's not loud enough, I'll crank it up a little bit.
Yeah, for me it's like 20.
Yeah.
For my truck it's like 10.
My number's like 33.
Yeah. 30 to 36 for me
Yeah.
is like how loud.
Once it goes past that, it's not really listen to. It's like,
See, I can listen to 42 is the loudest I'll go in my car.
yeah.
Especially on this shit because like I have to get loud enough.
Yeah, so that'll be the end of our album. Just kind of like definitely the chord progression that's going on throughout it is like a common melody throughout the album, just to kind of bring it all together, make it have like a very similar sound. I think there's 3 or 4 songs that use that chord progression in it, and then most of the songs are in the same key as it. So, anything else we want to talk about?
Not that I can think of. I think we'll wrap it up here.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
For having me, boys.
All right. Stopping it right here.